Welcome back to another session and leadership conversation here at the World Staffing Summit. I hope everybody's enjoying the show. We already heard a couple good sessions, including an opening keynote by Denis Penel, which I was super excited about. And now I have a very special guest here with me, a person that needs no introduction in the staffing industry, and we'll have a quick conversation. Thank you so much for joining us here at the World Staffing Summit, Corinne Ripoche.
Thank you, Jens. Thank you for your warm welcome. I'm thrilled to be there and to be with you today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Corinne, for joining us. I'm super excited to have a quick conversation with you. But before we dive in, tell our audience a little bit about yourself and maybe your journey in the staffing industry. I know that you spent many years already in different roles and probably seen everything, but maybe you can give us a quick glimpse into that.
Yes, so for sure. Always my pleasure, to share my journey within the staffing industry. And I started 28 years ago in the staffing industry, and I joined this industry for the purpose of the industry at that time. It was just after the 91 crisis, and where I started in my native France, and it was just after the crisis that we had, as I said, and it was for me important to work on decreasing the unemployment rate that we had at that time. And thanks to the Adecco group, because I'm working for the Adecco group for this 28 years, and thanks to the Adecco group, I've been able to really, transfer my passion of the purpose of the staffing industry everywhere in the world, because I've been working in more or less all continents except Australia and Africa. Otherwise, I've been able to be the voice of the staffing industry everywhere. Mm-hmm. And for me, honestly, we are today even in a very, very nice area where our purpose is really becoming true, and even more true than 20 years ago. So
that's true. I think we're living now in the most exciting times actually to work in staffing, both from a staffing company but also technology provider perspective, to the industry. So coming, to the question of technology, what are your thoughts on the pandemic impacting the industry, but also technology playing a vital role in the next years for the industry? Where do you see, the balance between, the human touch of the recruiter and technology moving forward?
Yeah, it's a great question. We can see that, what we do not know today, we do not know it. And we have to acknowledge that. We have to acknowledge that the staffing industry, but as the other industry in the world, are really changing. And I think it's requiring us to be agile there, and to really, listen to the market, listen to our customer, but listen to our people as well, and listen to our candidates and associates as well. So, it's a real combination between the different stakeholders that we can have, which is giving us the opportunity to reinvent us. Mm-hmm. When I look at that now, more in the tech part, last year, when you look at how the HR tech has been really impacting our industry, I mean, it's quite not mature yet, but yeah. When you look at that from an investment point of view, the capital market on the HR tech last year was approximately $17 billion. Okay. Mm-hmm. And when you look at that, it's probably 3 times more than what it was in 2019 post-pandemic. Mm-hmm. And if you look at that in a more narrow way, in Q3 21, it's 6 billion more than the entire year of 2019. Wow, so meaning the technology is really, moving fast within our industry. And us as a leader, we clearly need to integrate the HR tech within our way of working to be able to transform our legacy business with better experience using technology for all the stakeholders that we have.
I totally agree, and I think there's many areas, both on candidate experience, client experience, internal automations. I think there's so much going on right now, and you'll see many more technologies and technology providers coming up in the next couple of years that will basically help to make this entire industry even more efficient and automated. When you look at the market, not only from a perspective of just technology, but also from other points of view, what would be your biggest projections, if you can, tell, for the next 5 to 10 years? What do you think the market is going? Do you think, is it going towards more direct sourcing? Is it, maybe going into a different direction? What are your thoughts on that?
As I said, what we don't know, we don't know. And we have seen a lot of things happening in the past 2 years. And another thing is direct sourcing, all these other things that we have seen as well, can be one way, can be something which will happen, can be something that will not really grow more than what is today.
Mm-hmm.
Why? It's just because it will really depend on how this industry will react about the needs of our clients.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing that we have to solve all together for in the next 5 years is about the skill gap.
Mm-hmm.
The skill gap is something that we have to really solve all together. And by doing that, it's also changing the way of how us as a staffing leader, we are really considering our industry.
Mm-hmm.
And clearly we have to move from just being an intermediator
Mm-hmm.
to really becoming an incubator of talent.
I agree. Yeah.
If all together we are able to do that, we will see a lot of changes in the way of how we'll deliver our solution and services to our clients in the near future. So
Mm-hmm.
this is clearly what I want to say about that. After that, when you look at the market,
Mm-hmm.
we know, and I say we know what we do not know. So meaning that we have some study today saying that by 2030, more or less, 36% of the US market, if I speak about the US,
Mm-hmm.
will be in the healthcare industry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so it's another thing. And 24 will be in tech. So meaning that we will really take these trends and adapt our way of working and the way of delivering our services to the growth of this market.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that we will have to upskill people.
Yeah.
Clearly, and I will give you one nice example because not yesterday, but last week, sorry, I visited some clients with one of our subsidies or one of our company in the US, General Assembly, with upskilling people, reskilling and upskilling people. And we're visiting one of their partner, and this company said, I started my business at the beginning of 2019, and I'm already due 20 million in revenue of selling people being upskilled and reskilled by General Assembly.
That's super
So
interesting.
here you can see, working with the community as well. What I didn't say probably when I introduced myself, the passion that I have for people and the passion that our industry should have for people and changing the life of people within the communities. And by doing that, what we do, we are clearly moving our industry by changing the life of people, upskilling them, giving them a better way of living, but also answering the client's needs.
Mm-hmm.
So,
what are when you had this conversation with this client, what are the most common skill sets now that are being worked on with General Assembly? Are there specific segments or skills that are very high in demand in terms of reskilling, or where do you see the sort of segmentation there?
Yeah, at General Assembly we have in 5 type of skills. So meaning that what we can see here, it's really marketing, Marketing is one segment where we see the increase of the demand. Tech is another one where we can see the increase of the demand. And cross industries, it's a project management. I used to say to my team that every single subject today should be organized and managed or lead as a project management.
Yeah.
Why I'm saying that as well, because I do believe a lot about what I call the braided organization. A braided organization is how can we use the best of every single partner that we can have within this industry or outside of this industry, again, with one single thing in mind, which is delivering the best solution, delivering the best services, including all the ecosystem that we can have.
Yeah, I agree. That's super interesting. Thank you so much for those insights. Maybe we shift gears a little bit and talk about advice to other staffing leaders, or maybe people that want to start in the industry. For you, having seen almost everything, what would be your advice when you would speak to somebody that maybe starts a new HR tech or staffing business or wants to get into the industry? What would you tell them?
Yeah, it's a good question, and the staffing industry, the HR industry, HR tech, staffing industry, or whatever. I think it's an industry where you come in with passion, and you stay in because you have the passion for the people. My advice will be, it's something that most of the leader can say, but the first one is please dream big. Please dream big, because you have the opportunity to change the life of millions of people. And this is extremely important. The second thing is that because you have the opportunity to work with people and to change the life of people, be authentic. Work on your authenticity. Work on the leader authenticity that you can have, and put your purpose at work every single day. Not only saying that with empathy, but also with the compassion that we can have. Because compassion is even further than purpose, or than just the opportunity to give to the people the authenticity, the compassion is even more important than the rest. Okay, when you have your true purpose in place. The third one is that when you have a range of people with you, and your company will be successful if you have the diversity.
Yeah.
Internally, externally. So meaning that be a diverse champion, be a diverse and inclusion champion. Okay. So this is what I can say for the people who wants to join this industry, or for the people who are already in that industry. Clearly, be authentic, lead with passion, and put your purpose every day at work.
Great advice. Thank you so much for that. And before we jump into some Q&A from the audience for a minute, and I know this is now a very open-ended question, but is there anything that keeps you up at night these days as a staffing leader? Anything that you think about all the time right now that is pressuring you, so to say, or is I know this is very broad, so this can have many answers.
No, but I will summarize that in two things. What is really in my mind every single day or every single night. The first thing is how to move, how to prepare. It's not even to move. How to prepare a sustainable future for everyone within our industry. Okay, and I mean here for communities, for clients, for our teams. So how this how do we have to reinvent our industry? So it's really the reinvention of the industry. A few years ago, when I was at Pontoon, I said how we have to rebirth the new MSP business. So here is now, how can we reinvent the staffing industry? This is my first thing. My second thing is a lot of people are speaking about the Great Resignation. But the Great Resignation is something, it's now, 40% of the people are thinking to move from one company to another one, or to change their job, or to do something different. But here is how to move from the Great Resignation to the Great Reevaluation. Because we spoke about the upskilling and the reskilling of the people, but how do we reevaluate the needs that our companies will need in the future, and how we make the future of everyone much better than what it is today?
Agree.
So this is probably, it's a bit of vision point of view. It's not really operations, but as a leader, I think that we have to have the vision, and after that to work on our strategy, and after that to work on how do we operationalize our strategy, or we are our strategy. And but first is, what is the vision that we should have, and where I'm back to my dream big, because if we dream big today, we'll be able to reinvent our industry.
Fantastic. Yeah, thank you so much for those great insights. And if you don't mind, I'll just open the table for questions. So maybe the audience has some questions, can jump into the chat, and maybe we will answer one or two questions. And let's see if people have some questions here now.
So I can
there is one actually here. I can put the question on stage from Mark. Outside of COVID, what external factors and or outside influences will affect client growth? Mark asks.
It's a great question, Mark. COVID has been an accelerator. COVID has been an accelerator of the transformation and change for our industry. And we spoke about technology. So now we just have to understand, past COVID, I read an article yesterday saying that after Omicron, the COVID will be gone. So meaning we will come back to a normal life, but not a normal life that it was in 2019, but we will create our normal life for the next 2 decades or maybe more. So technology transformation is probably what we have to take in consideration for the future, and what will impact our industry. And this will be impacted by what? First, because if we have more technology at work, we will have to understand what will be the value add of our people. And I do believe that it's a combination between human and tech. It will never be either human or either tech. It's clearly the combination. Is the augmented, I will call that the augmenting human experience that we will be able to give to humans. Because it will be difficult to give experience to robots. So we will give augmented experience to human by using the best of the humans and the best of the technology to really change and transform our industry to serve the transformation of our clients.
I totally agree, and I think we have a few more sessions on that today, even where we have the discussion between balancing technology and still the human factor. Obviously the last years there was a lot of conversation around the recruiter-less world. Will staffing agencies will be replaced with technology, but I don't see it at all like that. I think the technology will help the industry to be more effective, but the human touch will remain, and I'm super excited about that. Thank you so much, Corinne, for your time today. I really appreciate the conversation. Thanks so much for coming to the World Staffing Summit. I hope everybody was able to enjoy the conversation. It's recorded, so you can rewatch it afterwards. And maybe Corinne and her team will be around for a couple more questions on the chat, and you can reach out to the Adecco team over there. So thanks, Corinne. I really appreciate the conversation.
Thank you. And enjoy the summit, and thank you so much for having me and for organizing this summit. Thank you, Jan.
See you soon, Corinne. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.